shot away. It's just another super goal.
Welcome back, everybody, pitchside. England have won this one 22 points to 6. There's a little bit of an arm wrestle at the start, but England ran away with it in the end.
Your 2018 champions, the London Monarchs. Winners of 2018.
Well done, boys. Let's give it up. Go on, lads. Welcome to the glorious sunshine of the LDN 7s, where we have got wall-to-wall rugby and one hell of a party coming at you all weekend.
The whole vibe here has changed from last year. It's got more of a massive festival thing now as well. Bigger, better, and rugby's really good as well.
So burgers, beers, good vibes, plenty of top rugby, so get yourself down here to the LDN 7s 2019.
I tell you what, drinking pints and winning a tournament, what more could you want? Like pints, rugby winning, and just taking the people to the cleaners. I love it. Puts a shot away. It's just another super goal.
Welcome back, everybody, pitchside. England have won this one 22 points to 6. There's a little bit of an arm wrestle at the start, but England ran away with it in the end. welcome to the glorious sunshine of the LDN 7s, where we have got wall-to-wall rugby and one hell of a party coming at you all weekend.
The whole vibe here has changed from last year. It's got more of a massive festival theme now as well. Bigger, better, and rugby's really good as well.
So burgers, beers, good vibes, plenty of top rugby, so get yourself down here to the LDN 7s 2019.
I tell you what, drinking pints and winning a tournament, what more could you want? Like pints, rugby winning, and just taking the people to the cleaners. I love
Welcome to Roslyn Park here in South West London for the next instalment of Harlequins Academy versus Exeter Chiefs, the Premiership Under-18 fixture round 3. A little overcast today. We can't see the planes coming in the Heathrow, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of high ball to test those pilots. And I'm joined up here in the commentary today by the one and only Mr. Chris Roberts of Edge Performance. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks very much, Jacko. Great to be here. I think also worth noting there's quite a heavy wind, but no worries. There's plenty of matches across the country that are having to be postponed because of boggy pitches, but this pitch here at Roslyn Park, absolutely immaculate.
Do you think it's immaculate due to the fact it's plastic? It's 4G.
Absolutely, always helps.
It does. So, Chris, what are you expecting from the day? Last week we saw Quins blow away Gloucester, putting 41 points on them. This week, Exeter Chiefs, from what you hear, a different kettle of fish?
Yeah, I think the exciting thing about this Under-18 Academy League is that you're always getting very high-scoring affairs. You've got individuals that have been brought together from various clubs and schools, but there's always an attacking intent there. There doesn't seem to be, or there's a lack of fear at times with that attacking intent. But there will certainly be players from both sides looking to put a marker on their opposite numbers and put their hands up to the coaches.
Absolutely. Now, we're also joined up here in a rather kind of tight little space up here in the little gantry, Jack Kenningham. Now, you're actually on Harlequins books, but you're walking wounded. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah, not too bad at the moment. Just been training for the last couple of weeks, but yeah, it's a good lineup tonight, and I think it'll be a great game. Obviously, it's always very fast on the 4G pitches. And that definitely goes hand in hand with the style, the under-18s. In this kind of league, it's very fast, very expansive.
Well, we saw that last week. I mean, it's not just the pitch then, Jack. Or not just Quinn style. It's all the teams in this league there. That's what they encourage you to do?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone's got a point to prove. All the players in this under-18 league, they want to put their hand up. And they want to play fast. And you definitely see less structure. They have less time together as a team, but they definitely come together and put some good stuff together. Lots of super individuals coming together.
Excellent. Well, let's look at those two teams before they come out on the pitches. And so, first of all, we're going to look at the Quins home team. So, let's run through this. We got Will Hobson on 1, Johnny Staples 2, Finn Baxter at 3, Elliot Powell at 4, Ollie Corbett 5, Enzo Croy at 6, McKean Alakan at 7, Ted Johnson at 8, Jago Bailey at 9, Jamie Benson at 10. Cassius Cleves is in the 11 slot, but wearing 23 because the shirt wouldn't fit. Obviously, the gym's working. 12 is Bryn Bradley, 13 Oscar Beard, 14 Keaton Ojo, 15 Connor Slevin, and on the subs bench we have Ben Wilding, David Aforo Mantuo, Ed Timpson, Chris Preen, Ben Potter, Josh Tussler, and George Jevons. And Exeter, as they come onto the pitch now in the background of us. At 1, we got Ethan Pearce Cowley. I think we're going with Ethan Pearce Cowley. 2, Harry Hockin. 3, Harry Wilkinson. 4, Milo Hallam. 6, Chris Tishunza. 6, Joe Ellsworth. 7, Jake Bond. 8, Ben Grubb. 9, Tom Cairns. 10, Jack Carden. 11, Billy Orchard. 12, Charlie McCaig, 13, Archie Hill, 14, Kean Gentry, 15, Frankie Knoll, and on the bench, Ollie Jeffrey, Nathan Correa, Bailey Williams, Sam Lee Worthy, Jermaine Ellis Brooks, Josh Pilkington, Williams Beckinsale, and Jason Capaldi. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how they all line up today. Chris, looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned earlier on, Harlequins had a high-scoring affair against Gloucester last weekend. Those followers on social media would have seen perhaps the pick of the tries being Cassius Cleves. Lovely counter-attack play. Quins moving the ball wide, and Cassius showing some excellent footwork to go in the corner. Both sides have come out to a rippling of applause. From a growing crowd. Should be a very, very exciting affair.
Yeah, the crowd is growing, absolutely, and it's going to be Jack Carden who's going to begin this underway for Exeter as the last of the little huddle for Harlequins takes place, where they mention those inspirational words that we're all used to hearing, which we probably couldn't repeat up here. But so we're about to get off. And we're off. Jake Carden picked up nicely there. Quins, once again, not looking to even find distance on this, just immediately looking to run that ball. And it's a good break already. Numbers on fronts would help, but I think that's Finn Baxter taking the ball up. Jamie Benson orchestrating. Looking deep, picked up by Frankie Knoll, who's got a famous brother who also wears a scrum cap. Good defence by Quins. Exeter keeping it tight. You're fine. Quick tap penalty there. Tom Kahn straight off, pushing the line. He's gained 20 yards there already. Exeter looking to make the most of these quick penalties. Jamie Bond taking it up. Cairns feeding Carden. Oh, good offload from the floor. Chris, already we're seeing here some good offloads. There's no just punching it up every 5 yards.
No, not at all. And I think both sides, particularly from a defensive aspect, showing some outstanding line speed and putting the attack under a substantial amount of pressure.
Yeah, both teams happy to take it up, but the defence is pretty stalwart straight away. There was Ollie Corbett and Quins there. Nice early tackle. It's a not deliberate knock-on, knocked out of the hands of Jake Bond.
Still playing advantage, scrum.
Advantage still being played.
Advantage over, guys.
The advantage over, so Exeter got to make something of this now. Milo Hallam taking up through the centres. The runners off either side. Early touch of the ball for Archie Hill. Good defence by Quins. Harry Hockin trying to get some weight into their centres. But Quins happy to run it from their 22.
Rock now!
Benson happy to clear his lines there, and his. Oh, and that's Exeter. Exeter really done well there, getting that ball out. Slowing it down, and now they've turned it over. They've got advantage, and they've turned it over. The ref's going to give them a chance to use this. Not rolling away, but a knock on there by Exeter. He tried to take it quick.
Advantage not rolling, that's not from the mark.
And yeah, I think certainly for the two tap penalties, or the two penalties that Exeter have been awarded, their scrum halves look to tap and go very, very quickly. Certainly from a visual side, the Exeter side looking to have a few more pounds perhaps on their opposition in Quins. One thing to keep an eye on though is that decision making at the breakdown, always absolutely crucial, and Quins putting a lot of pressure on that Exeter attack by trying to get in that defender over the ball to either slow the ball down or get that steal.
Test your comms, Frank. I can't hear you.
Chris, so first few minutes, thoughts?
Somebody's mic went
More than what we were just saying now. I mean, it started to come together role. We've seen a little bit of a pattern already. And last week we went, I think it was 32 minutes until we actually had a stop. Already, you know, the guys are taking the breathers. It seems to be much more, you know, kind of like in their face straight off from the up. The defences are right on the line.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier on, you know, both sets of defences are looking to get off that line as quickly as possible, with that really quick line speed to put the attack under as much pressure as possible, which is just actually making, from an attacking point of view, constantly looking to find that space. And you can see from that Exeter attack, you know, they're mixing it up between going short, looking to go up the middle, and then trying to move it wide. That Quins defence has stayed resolute so far, and as we said, looking to actually have a go at that breakdown, whether it is to slow the ball down and steal. I also think worth noting that little break that Jamie Benson made just outside the own 22. Quins turned that ball over, but rather than kick it, he stepped a couple of players and ran out. That's always a brilliant exit option as well.
It is, and it is all about development as well. Obviously, it's, you know, it's winning is everything, but as Jake Ellsworth takes a good line out there and the roll's on there, but it is about developing these players. And we'll speak to Jack about that in a minute, as a man who knows all about is it important to win in this academy or not. So Quins managed to stop that roll. That's Finn Baxter, looks like he's got the ball. Yeah, and he's turned it over. He's kept it in now.
And I think those of you who watched the Quins game against Gloucester last week, he was pretty phenomenal in that area as well. You know, for somebody with some international experience and a tight head prop, he certainly does get in there and win his fair share of turnovers.
Jack, you must be happy with the start of this game.
Yeah, look, they've really good defensive shift there to stop the driving maul. It's definitely something Exeter have throughout the age groups, and something I've had to come up against, whether that be in the Shield or under 18s. They've always been a very physical side. So I think they'll be really happy to have dealt with that early line-out threat and got the maul here as we look to exit probably.
Excellent. We see their iSports Analysis sponsoring our clock today. Thank you, iSports Analysis, the world's best analysis platform. Right, Exeter, the Quins clear, and Exeter by Frankie Knoll here, looking to break up through the middle. Well covered there. defending Quins. Cairns, he's back and he's over it, and Carden again looking to push back. That's a good clearance there, good clearance.
Yeah, I think just adding that little bit of pressure, that extra kick just inside that Quins 22. You know, we talk about pressure as far as the line speed from a defence, but it's also important to recognise that territory creates a certain amount of pressure, and with that kick out, Quins are now under that territorial pressure, albeit with possession at their line out.
Absolutely, so it's better to give them their ball and pressure on their line rather than having your own ball on the halfway line. So it's about just, you know, different ways of playing their game there. That's Enzo Croy picking up there in the line out, and a bit of maul of their own coming on now. And it's giving Exeter a bit of their own. This is what they're known for, and that's gone down, but the ref, and we've got advantage to Quins. Oh, nice break there. There's Jamie Benson again. Quick hands.
Advantage over.
Connor Slevin there, feeding Kitan Ojo, and the first score of the day has come from the 22 of the Harlequins line all the way through with Kitan Ojo. That's not a bad time to get your hands on the ball for the first time, Chris.
No, absolutely. You know, we spoke about Quins being under pressure, but actually, what a way to relieve that pressure. You know, catch and drive from that line out, absolutely exceptional body positions. We spoke about the slightly bigger Exeter defence, but actually, and we're just seeing it on the rerun now, the body position from Quins gave them that go forward. What was interesting was that Exeter were not actually committing, which allowed Quins to get their bodies in that attack, get that ball moving. There'll a few cries of crossing from the touchline. The question would be, did it actually impact and affect the tackler? I'll let you be the judge of that one, but either way, the score has been given and it's 5-0 to Quins.
Absolutely. Jack, was that crossing?
Okay, so we've got no scoreboard going.
Definitely not.
That's what I thought. Excellent. That's what I thought. I mean, to me, it was pretty blatant, but I mean, you know, you're the guys that played a lot more than me, so let's go. The fact he took the player out, it wasn't. Yeah. So, and with the extras here, so you'll be pleased with that start, Jack?
Yeah, credit to the forwards there.
In creating the platform and breaking it through and giving them the space, absolutely. Jamie Benson with the extras, and straight through the middle, Jamie Benson, a Hampton and Richmond. Richmond Rugby Club will be pleased that he's pushing that out there. So, 7-0, Harlequins with the early lead.
Sorry, you are right.
Exeter's got to come back at them. It's a long journey from the southwest down there, so
yeah,
let's hope they can make a game of this.
Yeah, that catch and drive line out will definitely give Quins a lot of confidence. It can be such an important area to attack from, whether it is a few metres out from the opposition line or doing what they just did. We've just got another stoppage now, it looks like, Jacko, and a change of player.
Yes, we've got a early change. Nope, that's a new scrum cap. It's a new scrum cap. It looks very clean anyway. That's Ethan Pearce Howley coming on. So, Quins with Bryn Bradley bringing it straight back. Great hands, Jamie Benson. He's looking for those players as he's got the options. Excellent play. Good support there, but he just didn't have that. He didn't have the numbers. Jago Bailey feeding the forwards. They got the momentum now. Still going out left. Johnny Staples, I think, taking that in there. Crunch ball. Benson, oh, nice little hands. Well taken. This is good work by Quins, but they got to work hard to get that. Exeter all over them. Benson put all those strings. Oh, Will Hobden taking that at pace, but Archie Hill was equal to it. Oh, good quick hands. And again, can he hold on to it? Oh, excellent play by Makeen Ali Khan there. But unfortunately, it was knocked on. I think that was just knocked on in that last pass. But there was some great hands there, Chris. I mean, like, you know, in your day you'd have been pleased with those hands.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. You know, we talk about, you know, dare I say it, the bad old days of the front row union, getting the ball and just trucking it up. We saw a couple of lovely busts from the front row, a couple of beautiful offloads, but beyond that, it was the decision making to do so and the execution. I think one thing that was quite interesting there for me, we spoke about what Quins are doing in defence. Exeter actually not competing an awful lot at the breakdown, which just means they have got those 14, 15 players on the field, which makes it a little bit more difficult to actually break that defence down.
Crouch.
Absolutely, but some great handling there. Jack, I didn't ask you, what position do you play?
I play in the back row, anywhere across the back row.
Right, so you'd appreciate those quick hands there
Oh
then.
yeah, lovely.
They bounce up.
Superb line. I think it was from the number 8 actually.
And there he is again. Ted Johnson with a cracking tackle as they came back inside. So Exeter look to clear their lines. Tom Cairns dipping it down. And it's going to be Keaton OJ, the try scorer, picking up. Connor Slevin just trying to find that corner. Can he find it? And he does. Frankie Knoll just sees it into touch. And so a good bit of play by Quins. They've gone from a scrum on the 5 metre Exeter line, and they've kept him down that end and pushed him down there to their own line out.
Quins, use the end of the line.
Yeah, the wind you're talking about, Chris, is blowing with Quins at the moment, so maybe there's a little bit of advantage there with those kicking.
Yeah, the Quins line-out's been exceptional so far. Let's see what Exeter have got. So far, so good there.
Excellent take by Chris Tishonza. And it's going backwards towards Cairns, but he's giving them 10 yards. He'd be happy with that. Now Quins get a chance to build. Can they? Now their first try came from the line out on the far side as they brought it across, but they were just on their own 22 at that point. So this should be a better launching pad for them.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see if they go for that catch and drive again, or do something a little bit different.
Well, I suppose the forward's up there. I mean, if it works once, then my idea as being a forward, I'm sure you'd agree, Jack, you just carry on doing it and you don't listen to the backs because it works. But let's see. Oh, no, they tried a quick one, maybe overconfidence too early. And I think that's Exeter, yeah, they've turned it round. Now Exeter get a chance to break from inside their own half. Well taken up there. There's Chris Chisunzo again. Carden. Excellent feed there. There's Noel. Noel with Orchard outside him. And he's gone to ground. Excellent couple of rolls there. The ball's coming out. Jake Bond. They're going back on the blind side. Cairns likes it. Oh, and I think that's excellent play by Connor Slevin there, though. Picking it up.
Let it come now.
So Quins get a chance to clear their lines, and I don't think they'll be running this one. I think they'll be... Oh, look at that. That's how much I know. They're still looking to run from their own line. Sign of confidence, Chris. Well, and then it falls to pieces, and they do have to kick, but it gives Exeter, with Jack Carden, a chance to run straight back up, and that line's not formed yet. Oh, I tried a quick inside pass.
You're offside, guys.
We've got an offside.
Number 10, number 3, always offside.
Quins are offside, so Exeter got a chance to. Carden is slowing it down. I don't think they can take points. I think they're going to go to the touch and try and build a bit of momentum here.
Yeah, I think, great opportunity there from Exeter out wide. I think really worth noting the work rate of Kitanojo there on Quins' right wing. Outnumbered, got back, worked really hard, actually slowed the ball down at the subsequent breakdown, which allowed his teammates to come back and form that defensive line. They did turn the ball over, and the commentators cursed, as you said, they were going to exit. They did try run it. A slightly messy passage of play, but Exeter have decided to slow that down.
Absolutely. Big thanks today to Guardian Pro Mouthguards sponsoring this stream, giving your teeth every sporting chance. Thank you for them. They're regular alongside the Cheers Mate Run these days and making sure that we can bring these games to you. So, Jack, your journey through the Quins at the moment, you were saying you're down in Bath.
Yeah, I am indeed. Got picked up quite relatively late into the academy. Only had 2 years in my sixth form, but was lucky enough to get those 2 years in the under-18. In the under-18s playing in this league. Yeah, and I've been part-time with Quins, part-time down at Bath University, playing in the Buck Super Rugby down there. which has really helped me as a player definitely grow. I've been getting lots of game time, and it's important to recognise that a lot of different players have different sort of ways and grow into their careers as rugby players. Not everyone will make it from the under-18s into a straight professional contract, and this gives them a great platform to take forward.
Absolutely, it is. It's about opportunities and everybody finding their different way. We were talking on the way up here today, actually. The Scottish centre a couple of years ago didn't go to the World Cup. He didn't get, he went to uni, went to South Africa, got missed, and got picked up. I can't remember his name. I think he had a Welsh name. Hugh Jones, that was it. Yeah, exactly. So there's a path for everybody. Well, Exeter to go to the touch on this, and then they've got a nice line out. This is a good chance for them to see if they can get on that scoreboard. So. Nice early jump, and this is the rolling maul that Jack was talking about earlier, and they seem to have that rolling nicely, and the ball is at the back, and Cairns is orchestrating it. Quins have managed to get it to ground, not legally according to the ref. Yeah, the advantage is on. The free ball. It's Archie Hill taking it in. Quick hands, Jake Bond.
Keep coming,
There's good
guys,
recycling here from Exeter. His defence has been good all the time. There's another advantage. Oh, Milo Hallam, like a good second row, just stepped inside there. Nearly got the break. And he's gone loose, but has he got the outreach arm? I think he has, and the ref has given it, yeah. I think that was Ben Grubb, the 8. See him there, numbers on front, we request it all the time. I think that's their 8, Ben Grubb, with a great reach there. I'm making something from nothing, Chris.
Yeah, I think the extra size there paid a little bit of dividends. We talk about the principles of play. They got that go forward there, and perhaps Quins not really completing their tackles, just slipping off, just allowing Exeter to rumble towards that line. As they got there, that second movement, which is allowed to place the ball after the tackle, got Exeter over the line and gets them back to 7-5.
Yeah, I think Ben Exeter did really well there, because suddenly it was kind of like, what am I going to do? This crap ball, we've got advantage, shall we go back? But he actually played it, and he went straight back for it. So a great move, great move. So with the extras kicking from fullback, Frankie Knoll. Can he make this all square? Oh, hits the post. So early doors, 15 minutes. It's Harlequins 7, Exeter 5, a try apiece.
When you get a chance to talk to your lads, just need to be rolling away quicker at the tackle. You're interrupting the clear out coming through.
First 15 minutes, Jack, you'd be happy with that as we're going?
Run, guys.
Yeah, you can definitely see the momentum swing from the start. Exeter looks good, but I think when Harlequins stopped that more early doors, there was a momentum shift. And they've been going well since, but a couple penalties have given Exeter field position, and they've done well from it, coming away with 5 points.
No, 5.
Absolutely, I think they've made a lot of what little they have, so far. And when you've travelled 4.5, 5 hours up the M5, M4 and down, then you'll take anything. And that nice long line there, make sure that Cairns has plenty of room and a nice long line. That means Ollie Corbett was moving at pace to get through at least 4 players deep there.
He's done extraordinarily well there, Corbett, to get through and charge that down.
Absolutely. Exeter go again. Happy to go through the arms this time. Straightening up. Cairns. Everything that's happening is there. Billy Orchard done well, wants to keep it in there again and make sure he doesn't find touch. As Ethan Pearce-Cowley takes it up, but he went back a few yards there. Once again, great defence by Quins.
Off the 8!
As Charlie McCaig isolated himself, and come through the middle there, and the ref saying that he's come through the middle, offside. And one thing we must always remember, the ref is always right.
Absolutely. Said with a wry smile.
Absolutely, every time. Can't see what dividends he can get. He's found touch nicely. So launching again from just inside their half. We just see here the ball's there. They're all over. Let's have a look. It's out, I'd say, now. And I'd say that Makeen Ali Khan was unlucky. They go again. Playing it out through the...
That's clearly exposed, play on.
Wins again. Just to take these, you know, just out to the 10 channel, the 9 channel, and bring it back in. Elliot Powell has to clear up a lot there. Bit of juggling from Bailey, and I think Quins just have to settle a bit here at the moment. They're not that interested in kicking, Chris, are they? They're happy to keep running it.
No, and I think, you know, keeping that possession's absolutely vital. There's no doubt Exeter putting him under pressure, and here we go. It's paid dividends with a lovely break up the middle.
Excellent, Will Hobden there. He didn't take any prisoners as he took that forward, but that's 7. Jake Bond, he was forward a lot, wasn't he? I think it's another way of saying, was he offside?
Great to see Finn Baxter playing that ball away from the breakdown. We talk about having multi-talented and multifaceted players. That was just a great example. A bust up the right-hand side, and again, we've got the tight head prop, stealing ball earlier on in the game and passing the ball away from the breakdown there. Bravo.
Absolutely. Now, in the days gone past, we would forward to get that ball stopped, look for a back to take it up. These days, everyone I think that, let's say, has the ability, is allowed to, because in the, you know, the coaching used to be that, you know, get the ball right, give it to the backs.
Yeah, and I think, you know, different coaches will have different views on that, and I think, you know, at all levels, you know, I think it is important, as you say, it's that allowance. It's important that players are allowed to express themselves and allowed to develop, but albeit it's recognising that different environments are going to call for different skill sets, but as long as players are developed enough to know what tool to use in certain situations, being absolutely vital.
Absolutely. There's also a lot more running forwards based on that. Exeter again. Nice. Picked up nicely, nice and low there. Archie Hill. Good hands. Cairns getting across. Carden and Cairns are really, really orchestrating this nicely. Ethan Pearce-Cowley again in there, again involved. He's getting everywhere and gets his hands on it. Carden tries to look for touch. And it's George Jevons, 22, has come on the wing there, seeing it out. I thought they might have got a touch on the way, but it's a Quins ball.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a battle in between the two 22s for the last few minutes, both exchanging opportunities there, and Exeter just deciding to put boot to ball to get inside that Quins 22 and add a bit of pressure there.
And the dividends from being up there. So Quins got to clear their own lines on their own 22, and it's been stolen. And exceptionally good play there. That's Chris Tashunza. He clears it, wins it for Exeter. Jake Bond taking it up. Piers Cowley doing well there, but great work there by Ted Johnson to take him down. Advantage to Exeter. The free ball, Archie Hill. Not going to sit still. Cairns to Carden. Missed out Charlie McCaig there. Brought in Billy Orchard. Numbers are there. Oh, and that's Harry Hocking with a free ball just knocked on there.
One. In at the side.
Ref saying it's off his feet.
Here. Sorry? I think it's here. It was the first one was here. Yeah. Jamie. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, the Exeter bench quite vocal about a Quins player off his feet there. I think if we look back at the replay, we may well we may well see.
Down here.
We'll just listen to the ref.
Talk to you guys about their breakdown discipline. Tackler needs to get away fast, and you need to support with it when you're going for the ball. Next one goes to the bin.
Just telling them that there's a lot of too many penalties in that area. Well, too many penalties, and in that area it's affecting them. Sorry, Chris, cutting you across there. I wanted to hear the dulcet tones of you. And
No, not at all. As I said, the several players feeling slightly hard done by the Quins player being off his feet, and again, it's such an important area of the game. You know, the question has got to be: was that player on or off their feet when the ball was stolen? The referee obviously are judging that he was next to get the penalty as a result.
Time's on, guys. They're going for goal.
And Exeter have decided they're going to. Ewan Davis tells the referee tells us they're going to take the points and try and. Well, I think that's a good move.
Oh well, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sometimes there could have been an option to have a go for the corner. If they didn't come away with points, it's a wrong decision. If they come away with 7 points, it's the right decision. In this situation, they're going for the 3 points. You talk about trying to keep the scoreboard ticking over. This 3 points will give Exeter an opportunity to go into the lead and perhaps trying to generate that little bit of momentum they so need.
And unfortunately, Jack Noel there seemed to like. I say Jack Noel, Frankie Noel, getting it all wrong there. Pulled out to the left a bit there, and no dividends, so it stays at 7-5.
If they ask me, Jamie, if they ask, I'll reply, but you guys need to think.
Perhaps should have gone for the corner.
Well, now he's missed it. It's a good point. Don't you just love the hindsight? And a quick tap there, and it's this. Yeah, it's Finn Baxter, and nobody was stopping him. A little tap to himself and up through the middle, and that's why he's the England under-18 captain, because that's some class there, the Wellington prop. So they go again, once again through the hands. Jamie Benson, he's very elusive, nice. And then a quick ball off there.
No ruck.
Great one, Bryn Bradley. There, great support. And Quins, I think, did very well to try and get that ball back, slowed it down. But there's our man again. Having an impact around the pitch. It wasn't, sorry, that's Harry Hobson there. Will Hobson. The front row union, Johnny Staples having a bit of this now.
Absolutely outstanding steal there from Milo Hallam.
Yeah, back onside. Onside.
That's great play there from Milo, and there's a little ripple of applause in the gantry here for that work by Milo. And so Chiefs get a chance to clear their lines, but I think this is going to come back with a bit of interest. Cassius Cleves wearing 23 there, and that the referee saying was knocked on.
Yeah, Exeter will be absolutely delighted with the result of that. As we said, a phenomenal steal a couple of metres away from their line. Breakdown occurred, player in over the ball, stole that ball absolutely cleanly. A good clear away. And unfortunately, some might say an unenforced error there for Quins has given Exeter the opportunity of a scrum down just short of the halfway line.
We have a player down and another break as the players take some water on board.
Okay, there too.
Yeah, sorry, back.
Always a good time to mention Alive, designing your well-being, supporting the stream today. Big thank you goes out to them.
Down there, just bind on a box.
And iSports Analysis, the world's most powerful online sports analysis platform, another great supporter of these streams.
All settled?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, let's go, guys.
And Samurai RFC, suppliers of great sportswear, teamwear, and what a name in the sevens, on the 7 circuit that everybody knows. Chris, you're familiar with them.
No, absolutely. Arguably the best invitational 7 side in the world. Just gearing up for a very, very exciting summer ahead. 18 months away from starting to celebrate their 25th anniversary.
Exceptional stuff. great supporters of rugby and especially sevens, as we say. So Exeter to get us going again just inside their own half. From the back of the scrum, Archie Hill bringing it up. And there's that man, Milo Hallam again, who everybody was talking about, using his second row parter, Chris Tashunza. And they're finding the yardage, and they're just making those little breaks there. But Tom Carnes couldn't quite replicate that. Ethan Pearce, Cowley are, he's there again, and there's that man, Tashunza. And he's not.
Off his boot, play on.
Ref was happy with it. I thought it was a little bit of a knock on there, but I think it's just dropped, and that's really, really stolen well. I think is that Jamie Benson in there? Exceptional work. It was Oscar Beard actually there. It was the 13. But look, Quins are happy to go again there, and unfortunately, I thought it was a colour knock on theirs, but they were playing the advantage, and there's Piers Cowley as well. But it's been stolen again, but we're going back to the original knock on.
Yeah, shame there. It was a really good steal from Cassius Cleve at that breakdown, but the ref had already been playing advantage for the knock on, so we come back for that extra scrum.
Jack, nervous at this point?
I wouldn't say so. We just need to get hold of the ball, play in the right areas of the pitch. Just look to clear our lines really when we get the ball back, and just play, as I said, play in the right areas of the pitch. A little bit earlier, we're just fussing around with it right on our own ball. We just need to get that out. We just need to get that out and restart.
Scrum time. Yeah. I think the scrums we've had.
As we look back at that replay and that knock-on, I think it's important to note that Quins are endeavouring to play that offload game. If that ball had gone to hand, that was in space, and that player was going to bust right the way through. So, although these small mistakes occur, by sticking to it, something will happen eventually.
Absolutely, and these players. I mean, obviously fitness-wise, they're young lads. They're going to be fit and everything else, but they're not. They're not worried about running it from anywhere. Then that it's obviously subs on the bench, bringing it on and off and everything. But Chris, it's not a case of let's slow it down, let's orchestrate the game. And Jack, you said to us as early as well. It's like it's not an orchestrated game. It's very much go with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what's so brilliant about this under-18s league. That it is so open.
Time on, guys.
But it's also having the cool heads to actually know when it's right, to just slow it down a little bit and just clear your lines and restart and put pressure on them, whether that's putting that into touch and putting pressure on their line. But as you said, looking for the offloads, it's only one offload away from a big break. And Exeter look to scrum down here. It's a good base, and they'll be really excited about this attacking opportunity.
And the ball comes squidgy out the back, but quick hands. And he's got it there, that's Noel. Trying to get round the outside, they had the numbers there, Exeter. Quins have slowed it down nicely though. Grub the try scorer. We've got an advantage being played. Oh, nice cheeky little kick, but it didn't come together. Mark called, but we're going back for the penalty.
He took out the 9.
Yeah, having been warned already, Harlequins are going to have to be really careful with the penalty count in this area
Playing the
now.
9, guys.
He's playing the 9, is what they're telling us, Chris.
Yeah, Exeter, well, I was going to say I've got a big decision to make. It looks like they've already made that decision and going to kick for the corner.
And this is a bit more control on the game now. A bit more control. Chris, this is. Let's listen to Ewan.
On the line.
And he's saying you've got to support your weight, and he's going to be on that case the whole time. So Exeter with a chance to strike straight back. Pulled straight into it, Joe Ellsworth.
Good timing.
And Archie Hill and Charlie McCaig knew where that Quins defence was all over them. They're trying to get a Piers Cowley. And the referee has said, holding on. And that is a great steal, not releasing. Will Hobson as in choice. Will Hobson, expert play. Chris, you'll be pleased with that.
Absolutely. As I said earlier on, great to see the work from Finn Baxter, but awesome to see his fellow prop getting in on the act. A really, really important turnover. It just felt that Exeter was starting to get the screw on a little bit, and that turnover not only relieves the territorial pressure, but just means that we can clear the lines and live another day.
Absolutely, and you see there, Will Hobson on his feet, holding his weight, doing the business. Now from their own 10, a chance to build again. Can we see the repeat of the try from earlier in the game in exactly the same spot? Oh, but that's gone long. Was that part of the play? Offloaded. Quick hands again. We've got the same outcome. The ball's come out as Benson over the top to Ojo. Oh, good hands again, but this Exeter can turn this ball over. Try scorer Ben Grubb. Turn it over, and Exeter then go quickly. Now through Archie Hill. Frankie Knoll up in the attack. Clearing them off there. Good work there by Milo Hallam again.
Away 8!
Ted Johnson slowing it down. Grubb coming in. Oh, good line there. I think that was Knoll. Excellent line into it, but Harlequins were game for it. Archie Hill trying to find his way around the outside.
And away, 22!
22, George Jevons there from her. And we're being called up. We got an injury.
Yeah, it looks like there's a player down with a head injury, and of course safety will always come first in that regard. So the ref has rightly stopped play so the player can get the attention.
Absolutely, and let's just hope he's all good. So let's just run through this then, Jack. We were saying earlier about the the different opportunities you get, and the ref has called for half time. Well, there we go. So Jack, at this half time point, tell us where you about the line. So sorry, I was just looking to see if he is calling half time. Just double checking that. So Jack, we were saying earlier, this from academy, there's different opportunities. This isn't just a pathway to the first team.
No, exactly. It's not the be all or end all. It provides a brilliant platform, and my advice to anyone playing is firstly enjoy it, and secondly, whatever happens, it's not the be all or end all. Like, there's plenty of directions, plenty of ways to become a professional rugby player, and a contract at the end of the under-18s isn't everything. I'm lucky enough to be playing with Quins alongside Bath University, but look at Bucks Super Rugby now. The amount of players coming out of there, Alex Dombran, Luke Northmore last night. There's plenty of talent coming through, and it's only going one way, and it's getting better and better.
Absolutely. I mean, here at Cheers, mate, we were there at the launch of Bucks Rugby when it was doing, and we were pushing them out there. Those first lot of games, Sam Skinner down at Exeter, obviously not far from you. Lots of players that came through those ranks. And is it now getting to the stage whereby you get into 18, you go academy, or you can go uni and academy stroke, and because what you're getting now is an education as well as the rugby, where before you didn't get that level of rugby?
Yeah, definitely, exactly that. And look, it doesn't have to be alongside an academy, and I can tell you for sure now that academies, clubs are looking at Bucks Super Rugby as a way to recruit players, and like there's plenty of examples now. Bath University have a few lads currently playing under Bath with Bath Rugby. Max Ojimo playing at the university, also been selected in the England under-20s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I would agree entirely with the quality of the Bucks Super League rugby at the moment is just going from strength to strength, and I think somebody like Josh Beaumont a number of years ago showed out of Durham University there was still that pathway to go through university and become a professional rugby player. A number of players, as Jack has said, who are combining their university studies with professional involvement, and there are others that are using their university careers as a platform to move into that professional game. So the number of pathways, and alongside the likes of the England Counties programme, are perhaps more than ever.
Absolutely. And we're going to use this opportunity now to go to a quick break while we also refuel up here in the gantry.
Allowed to play off, puts a shot away, it's another super goal.
Welcome back, everybody, pitchside. England have won this one 22 points to 6. There's a little bit of an arm wrestle at the start, but England ran away with it in the end.
Your 2018 champions, the London Monarchs.
Winners of 2018.
Well done, boys. Let's give it up. Go on, lads. Welcome to the glorious sunshine of the LDN Sevens, where we have got wall-to-wall rugby and one hell of a party coming at you all weekend.
Mate, the whole vibe here has changed from last year. It's got more of a massive festival theme now as well. Bigger, better.
Josh Tuster getting Quins underway, now going right to left, and 7 points to 5 lead. Chris, how do you think this second half's going to work out?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. You obviously look at the scoreboard, there's only one conversion that has made the difference. Just interesting to see what the interventions the coaches have had at half-time. You know, are Quins going to carry on looking to play these offloads? Are Exeter going to tighten it up and try and use that size? We'll see over the next few minutes.
See there, just a bit eager, just take your Archie Hill there, eye off the ball. So Quins have got an opportunity to start early in the second half with a scrum just outside the Chiefs 10. Something makes you think that this is going to be running around. And then we got on here, we got
Set.
I see the replacement for Quins. 20. Oh, that's Cassius Cleves coming off the wing, going to scrum half. Jack, is that a normal move?
Can't say it's something I'm particularly familiar with.
Okay, good space.
Not every day you see the winger coming on, and we've also got 18 Ed Timpson has come on at half time as well there. He's on the open side. Ed is a what do we know about Ed? St John's Leatherhead and Effingham and Leatherhead player.
We talked about, you know, multifaceted players. Great to see Cassius going at 9. Quite common in the sevens world at the moment, where you're looking to get as much pace as possible. And there's been some real success stories on the World 7 Series of wingers being converted to scrum halves.
This is a move there, and there's Cassius. This is the old idea of him there, giving him a one-on-one. And I think it's just paid dividends because he is over under the posts.
Well, we spoke about that footwork that he showed last week for his try against Gloucester. Perhaps an inspired decision to move him to 9. Give him more option on that ball, and he's taken that try absolutely brilliantly.
And that you think, Chris, is a set play that they've been working on all week? Put him in there, give him that opportunity?
You would think so. I think, to follow up Jack, it'd be quite rare to throw somebody in at 9 without having had a little bit of experience there.
He went through the Gloucester team last week, and this week, Chris, he seems to do the same with Exeter.
And that's just both that footwork before contact, lovely fend, and then that power to go through that final tackle. Love the footwork, absolutely brilliant, and a great finish on the base of the post there.
There's a few Exeter players there, be a bit disappointed with those tackles there, but I mean, you've got to give credit to somebody.
No, absolutely. Look, that's a combination of excellent footwork, power. Something like a handoff nowadays is probably something that is coming back into the coaching locker, and it showed that having a really, really strong fend, push that tackle off, and also use it to power himself forward and get over the line for the try.
Excellent. And what was really good is how we all noticed that up here and said there's something going to be happening, and it shows that we're good at our research and our job, Chris, obviously. Jack, any moves like that in your days where suddenly, wingers came in and started scoring tries for you?
Much, but that was pretty special. Like you said, but they'll just be really keen to be good. Take this, get a good exit.
You can see that's visibly giving the Quins players a real lift now.
Yes, Ted Johnson taking it up through the middle. And the momentum is definitely with Quins now. 17, David Aforo, man 2 has come into the fold. And 21, Josh Tussler. So there's lots of changes for Quins, and a great hit there.
Ben Grubb,
the try scorer earlier, letting everybody know that he doesn't score just score tries. Thumping tackles as well as part of his repertoire.
Well, it's been a really electric start to the second half. You can just feel the pace has gone up, the energy's gone up.
Let's have a look at that Ben Grubb hit.
Yeah, here Quins look to go wide and move that ball. Terrific technique, and of course there's lots been made about tackle height and tackle technique. That one was absolutely spot on. A really dominant hit by Grubb, which makes that much more difficult for Quins to get that go forward, and Exeter ends up getting the ball off the back of that. However, that slight knock on as the ball's passed away, and it gives it back to Quins.
I think the Quins did well there to just take it in his stride.
All part and parcel of the game nowadays.
Set.
Rather than ref. So the changes have been made by Quins. 13, Oscar Beard still orchestrating that middle there. He's playing really well. Ted Johnson clearing up behind it. Knocked out of it. The tackle knocked it out, but it knocked it backwards. And there's Ojo, try scorer earlier in the day.
Well taken there.
Great hands, well played. Coming back on the tight side again. I think that was just not forward there. Ojo wasn't expecting it.
Johnson has just come into play in the last few phases and been really influential in this start of the second half.
Absolutely, we mentioned his name quite a few times in the first half, but considering we've been going 5 minutes, he's already found himself all over the pitch, and you could say the way it's squirted out the back of the scrum and helped Cleves go in there. He's been instrumental in everything.
No, absolutely, and what's quite interesting is obviously with that 8-9 combination of the Wellington College boys, they'll know each other very, very well. But certainly with the circuit they've got, they've come off the back of a very, very tough season. They've probably got a sevens campaign ahead of them, but right now they're wearing the Quins colours, and that'll be their focus.
Set.
Absolutely, they did have a good coverage. We covered them up at Sedbergh in a big game there. We covered them at St Joe's where they won it. You know, they're a school and a team to be reckoned with. Daniel Richards doing some magic down there.
Stop there, mate. 12, stop there. All good now.
They cleared again, and that's Jevons all the way back there. There's their try scorer. This is Cleves. Back to a more wing fullback role rather than the scrum half he was just a minute ago. And Quinn, yeah, and that was shit. He just knocked on as he was, and then laying on the ball. Is he puffing there, Chris?
Oh, I doubt that. These guys are pretty fit. I think quite interesting to note, we said at half-time would Quins look to keep playing the offloads and expansive style, and they've stayed doing that. Talk about good mistakes and bad mistakes, where it's a good decision but perhaps poor execution. But these balls seem to be going more and more to hand now for Quins.
They do. They just look like they just couldn't get it out from his hands.
Bind.
And it went a bit forward. Ewan Davis calling it right on the spot, as he has been all this game. Excellent refereeing so far. Exeter, I think that's William Beaconhall is coming into the fold, 22.
Tackle!
Quins trying to rip that ball there, but excellent work there by Billy Orchard. And taking it out, well, Cairns is feeding these backs and Carden is orchestrating, and great play there. It stopped, but he's got loose.
Tackle, guys!
Yeah, McKean Alakan shooting out the line there and has got his man.
He did, and that was an exceptional play. Just slowed everything down. Bailey Williams making the impact on at half time. That ball keeps coming back. There's our man, Chris Tazunza. He's been involved lots of the play in both halves. Harry Hockin being pushed back there. Carden trying to release those backs, but it's a nice flat line from Harlequins defensively, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Exeter throwing the kitchen sink at them, and if you look at that shape there, they've all got their spacings right in defence. They seem to be talking to each other. There's very little space for the Exeter team to attack, and they're going to have to just make those right decisions in terms of either going for the space or probably more so right now creating the space. How they do that, well, that's the game.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Alive. Design your well-being, supporting the stream again today, and a big thank you for them.
We're just pausing play again here right now with the player.
Sorry, Chris, let me just say, Delalio Rugby Works supports over 550 young people across England and Wales with the highest needs in the country. Using the values of rugby and education, Rugby Works takes young people on a journey with the aim of getting them into sustained education, employment and training, and we're working with Delalio today, so an excellent setup there. And iSports Analysis, the world's most powerful online sports analysis platform. Remember to look them up. Thank you to all the sponsors for sponsoring us and supporting these streams. And last of all, Guardian Prel mouth guards, giving your teeth every sporting chance. Look them up if you need a gum shield.
Let's go, guys.
That was Jack Carden down, just getting a little bit of treatment. Looked like it was on a calf, but he's back in the game, and we're going to restart with a scrum.
It is. Well, we stopped there because thinking he was, to me it looked like it was a head. As soon as it was stopped, he grabbed his leg. A wise move, because otherwise you just go off with a head injury, don't you? And at this age, is it right, Jack? If you get a head injury, you go off and that's it.
Crouch.
A head injury, do you just come off?
Straight away, recognise and remove. Or
Set.
under 19 years old. Any sort of head injury, you just they have to remove you straight away.
Absolutely. Obviously, always important. A great move there. McCaig and Archie Hill combining greatly there, and you can see Exeter rushing around the outside there. Ben Grubb taking up again. He's been everywhere today. That's a name for the future, definitely. Milo Hallam, great offload, great rip in the first half. And this is Exeter, definitely got momentum here. Coming back inside to Junja.
He's trying to get away, you've run into him, play on.
Harry Wilkinson.
And release now!
Yeah, these Exeter forwards decided to come around the corner quite quickly now, and again we mentioned that go forward quite a lot, and you know, you might say it's a little bit structured, or actually is it going to be considered clever to try and draw some of these Quins defenders in to create the space?
Absolutely, and now they've created that space outside. There's Noel. Has he got the way around? No, he's in touch now. Noel tried to skip round the outside there, but Ojo got him into touch there just as it looked like Exeter could be in, that narrow in this. We'll just see it again here. Chris Lee just tried to step out there.
Yeah, I think if you look at the pass, they actually missed out 2 players on the inside. Now that actually makes it much easier for the defence to cover across. If there isn't an obvious space outside, it just means they drift outside and push them into touch as they did then.
Exeter, stay on your mark, Quins, that gap's not quite good
Ewan
enough.
Davis, the referee, not quite happy with the line, but Quins get a chance now to clear their lines. They just got to make sure they get good ball. They've been losing it to the Exeter line out occasionally, and they've done it again. And that, for Bailey Williams, is nice and easy work. You don't get them every day, and straight over the edge. Chris, you'd be rather... I think you'd be more disappointed. The disappointment from Quins outweighs the joy from Exeter.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's always a very, very difficult one. I think when you first look at it, you look at the hooker's throw, but actually the line out is a very, very complex sum of the parts. You know, you've got to get that timing absolutely right. You've got jumpers, you've got lifters and the throw. And unfortunately, as we play this back now, perhaps that timing was just ever so slightly off. It's gone over the back. And, you know, that Exeter player, Bailey Williams, that was a very late Christmas present for him.
Absolutely. Well, Christmas come early when they're like that, you know, however far away they are. Wearing the right colour top for one that happened similar to the World Cup final not so long ago, if I remember rightly.
Technically, you can't.
Final against France down in New Zealand, where the off the back of the line out. There we go, show my rugby knowledge. And you're all shaking your heads up here. But the kicking duties have changed.
You've got 30 seconds.
It still is, sorry, it's Jack Noel. He's Jack, I keep saying that. Get it right, must get it right. Frankie Noel.
Yeah, that's a much better kick from Noel. He had a couple of ones he want to forget in that first half, but that one will be one he will remember as he takes Exeter within 2 points.
Now it's all to play for, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. You need to look to get down there, put some pressure on them, get some territory and some ball. Looks like discipline's been giving them a decent bit of territory. And look, we want to get up and put a big hit here. We want to put them deep and get the ball back.
Chris, what would you Quins now? I mean, what is it? Do they, territory like Jack's saying, do you think, or are they going to stick to to that game plan of running the ball from nearly anywhere?
Oh look, I mean, I think firstly, if you look at the scoreboard, Quins are 2 points up at the moment, so they're clearly doing something right. I think they've just got to keep on doing what they're doing.
Chris, I've got to interrupt you here because Cassius Cleves is just ripped through this X team like he did Gloucester last week. He's still going, he's got Ojo on him, and he's came in and taken out nicely there, but a great break there by Cleves. This is definitely one for the future, and they're going to go through the hands of Tussler. They're going to go wide. That's Ed Timpson, and is he over in there?
Try.
I'll give that.
And he's given it. They don't even come up to us to see the replay.
Not only was it a terrific bust up the middle by Cleve, it was a terrific finish out wide. Of course, the laws were changed recently in terms of a player is able to touch that corner flag with the body. as long as they are not in touch. As we see now, that ball has come back to Cleve. You know, counter-attacking threat from nowhere. Again, it's just that power, pace as he goes through up the middle. You've obviously got support in there, which is really important from Ojo. Does well to take that ball and get that go forward. I mean, absolutely massive hit in there from Capaldi, and yet a really, really quick recycle. Quins have got the numbers there, draws that winger, and we've got a score in the corner. Really, really important time with Bryn Bradley going in the corner with a nice finish.
He's done really well finishing there. He's just taken off, he's jumped, as you can see, just before he's got to the line, and he's got the ball down whilst he's mid-air. Really sensible, really good finish. You'll be really pleased with that.
And Chris, is that something that you coach play, or is that just a natural thing? You think, right, I'm going to make it somehow I'll stay out, or do you coach it? I mean, is there a little session you do that, especially in your sevens? You get a lot of this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity to get the crash mat out and practice those dives. You know, the difference of practicing things like that and not would have been 5 points. I say 5 points, it's actually 7 points. What a terrific touchline conversion. This game just seems to be, certainly in the second half, going one way or another, and shows how important conversions are, because that actually now takes Quins to 2 scores ahead of Exeter right now.
And now those that long journey up starts to take its toll, and Exeter have got to start coming back. But what can you say? You've got a player like Cleves on there, you just give him the ball like we saw earlier with the scrum, or, you know, I mean, Exeter are going to be worried about kicking it even when he's, you know, sitting back on the line like he did.
Yeah, absolutely. With him being an attacking threat, it may well offer up space and opportunities for other players as well. We obviously saw the support play there with the Quins team flooding through being really important.
Absolutely, and look at the running again from deep, and
Johnson again picking and going there, pulling a few extra players in as well.
Oscar Beard again, that guy has been everywhere and really been instrumental, and great kick earlier, and he's got nice quick hands, bounces off again. One to be reckoned with.
Hands off now.
There's Josh Tussler, scrum out, and that's been chased down. And Exeter pick that up, this could be there.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good spot by the ref.
Tackling the man without the ball.
The Exeter bench just underneath us are very vocal. They're not too happy about that, but probably with a slightly better view, I think that was a really good call from the ref. Obviously, there was a loose ball there, a great charge down. Yeah, player taken out without the ball, Quins penalty.
But the clearance has been sliced, and so Exeter are coming straight back at it. But there's well up there. Ben Wilding on for Quins. Excellent straight up tackle there. These guys, and another great chop. I think that was McKean again. Last 15 minutes on the clock now. Can Exeter pick anything up? They just seem to be running into a very resolute and solid Quins defence. But as we say that, Joe Ellsworth makes a break down the side, but he's been ripped. Ripped there, great strip. Ben Potter, great play.
Yeah, and obviously Quins call their replacements the game changers, and certainly a really, really good bit of play there by Potter.
Extra line out. Let go of the ball on the floor. Line out.
One of your skills, Jack, that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, really good chop tackle actually from earlier on from Ted Johnson. Yeah, he just stopping him at source really. It's actually something I like to pride myself in my own game, and something I definitely look out for when watching.
Absolutely. What's that line speed getting up there and just, you know,
line speed, keeping
stop
square,
that momentum.
and then yeah, just an intent to make the tackle.
Advantage.
The advantage to not releasing.
I think Krista Schunder for me, for Exeter, is having a good game and carrying that on in the second half. He's been very, very efficient in the line-out, taking ball but carrying well, and took a good line-out ball with ultimately Exeter getting a penalty. And the question is, are they going to go to that man again in the line-out?
So I think Exeter have got to make a... they need a score now if they're going to really impact this last 13 minutes now. And that line-out's been orchestrated, working really well. Sorry, Chris.
No, I mean, there's definitely a long way to go in this game, but you're right in terms of them trying to make a move in this area of the field.
Nice clean line out again. Joe Oldsworth, can they keep it up, or can Quins get it to the ground? Ewan Davis, the ref, is all over them. Quins has done well, and chopping.
Mark's there, sorry, I can't let you go. It's here. 16 on the side.
15 in from the side. It was Connor Slevin coming in. I think it was slowing it down is one way of looking at that.
2 on the bounce at line out.
Yeah, definitely like to see that one again. From the first angle, it looked like that actually that broke away ever so slightly, and here we might have a chance.
Yeah.
See Connor.
I think it's just happened just before that clip. The question being, has he come around the corner or has he actually come through the middle?
Well, definitely from the side. Because the ref said so, Chris. Right, so on the Quins 5 metre line. My money is Joe Ellsworth will catch this, which he does. Oh, and great played by Quins there to disturb that line, to stop that rolling maul that was going to develop. Jason Capaldi, I've wanted to say this all game, not related. Quins, that is exceptional defence. They're all on the edge there. And all the tackles are taking place behind the gain line. Quins aren't allowing them to come onto them. They're pushing them back every time.
Exeter really looking to get that leg drive from their forwards carrying, and Quins repelling them so far.
So the line speed from Quins is very impressive, and that's unfortunate, and Exeter are going to have to build again, and that is Capaldi again. Milo Hallam, once again, every Exeter drive is just pushed back. Junzi, can he make a difference? Josh Pilkington, trying to get them all moving. Grubb, Frankie Knoll.
Tackle now, guys, release! No.
Excellent play. Exeter got to clear it out. There's Tazunjo again, clearing it out. Oh!
Advantage, scrum.
And just a knock on and a tackle that he'll remember for a while. Doesn't help matters. But Quins have got the ball back. And as a student of the game, Chris, I think they would start running from here.
Cheers, Frank.
Well, we'll see, but I think it comes from that defence, and I think to reiterate Jack's excellent point earlier on, highlighting Johnson's chop tackle, Exeter are looking to get some really big leg drive from their forwards on a carry, but they're not allowed. Quins are actually looking at getting around the legs, looking at that traditional chop tackle, which I'm a massive fan of. By bringing those Exeter players to ground, it's not allowing them to get that leg drive, which is just meaning they're having to work harder. It's enabling Quins to get back into that defensive line and just keep putting Exeter under pressure. So that all came from a really excellent defensive set from Quins, which has resulted in a knock-on from Exeter, and Quins have got their ball scrummed down about 15 metres from their line.
And it is, you mentioned earlier about the game changers. It's the game changers coming on, and it's just an extra little step in what they're doing now as well. And so it's relentless for Exeter. You think you'd be wearing them down by now, but they're finding nothing but.
Set. Down on the far side, guys, reset.
Quins scrum again.
I'm going to come on that
I think
side.
there's always a moment in a match where the energy levels dip, where things dip ever so slightly, and I fear we may well be coming into this in the next 2 or 3 minutes, and it'll be a really interesting to note which side take this game by the scruff of the neck and really make it their own going into the last 13-14 minutes of this match.
Crouch!
I'm interested to see whether we're Harlequins are going to run it off here, or whether we're going to just play a little bit of territory, having been under the pressure for the last couple of phases.
Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to run it, because that's what they've been doing all game, and I think it's in their DNA to run it, but it's well, they're going to get another chance. It's going to reset it, gone round. I think Ewan Dave was happy to allow them to try and get it out, but I think Quins are lucky there.
Yeah, I think, you know, from a referee's perspective, if it's safe in that perspective and there's an opportunity for him to play the ball, he gave him a chance there, but the scrum had gone down, and I think he's made the right call by resetting that Quinn's ball.
All right, okay, I believe you then. I think as a Exeter forward, I'd be a bit peeved. But anyway, but Jack, going back to your point, will they run it territory? I still say they're going to run it.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Hold the shove!
Well, they're not going to run it because Exeter have pushed that scrum, and Ewan Davis said that it has just collapsed. It looked like it kind of like folded.
And as I said, we've come into that stage of the game. We've got to that a little bit of an arm wrestle at the scrum. I think everybody watching this game and being a part of it will want to make sure this ball comes away. And yet at the moment, if you're, as you say, an Exeter forward, you're going to want to try and put as much pressure on this Quinn scrum as possible.
And the Quinn scrum is now struggling. I mean, he's called it twice for coming down, but to me, they're struggling to really get a grip from this.
Crouch.
Yeah, I think the scrum's wheeling, which suggests that perhaps one side is more dominant than the other. It's not a team going through completely straight, so you might argue what domination is actually occurring. And as that occurs, Exeter have looked to try and get the hop on that early drive and a free kick to Quinn. So again, are they going to kick and relieve a little bit of pressure, which may well be the wise option, having endured that period, or are they going to reset on a scrum and pull some players in?
Well, it looked like they were going to. Looked like he just called a scrum again there, but he hasn't. They're asking Oscar Beard to clear the lines.
I think what's important to note here is this is a free kick rather than a penalty. So as Quins look to kick that ball out, it will be an Exeter line out. Obviously, if it was a penalty, it would be Quins' ball. So Quins very happy there to give up possession, but for the advantage of getting away from their line and relieving a bit of pressure through territory.
It's an interesting one, considering everything they've done so far. But then saying that they can rely on their defence, and they've just got to hold out for another 6 minutes. Oh, great play there in the line, because there was a lot of pressure on there. Taking it out. Jermaine Ellis-Brooks there. Taking up, but not getting a lot of interest. I think that's Nathan Correa trying to break the line. Quinn's wall of defence is very impressive, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. They're working really, really hard to get into position. You can see them call it rubbernecking, looking left and right to try and get in that position to make sure they've
got a break,
covered.
and that's George Jevons kick through, and it wouldn't come to him. But once again, Exeter are back in their own half, and this is a really, really accomplished display by Quins. Jack, you were saying earlier that you don't get a lot of... before you say anything, Jack, Cleves has got the ball in open field, so things could alter. But he's given it up, and he's given Ojo is going to try and find his way through. And I think there's another try in this Quins back line here. But there's the penalty, which means that there won't be, so it's going to go the other way.
Good turnover from Exeter there, but what fantastic defence from Harlequins, really putting them on the back foot, forcing the turnover and putting them under pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's solid stuff. It's absolutely solid. So, Jack, I was just going to be saying to you, I mean, like this stage of the great, we were saying earlier that there's no real, you don't have a plan. It's not a structured game so much. But Quins are controlling this game now, are they?
Yeah, look, I think they're getting their spacings right in defence. They're getting the line speed, and they're not really giving Exeter much to play with. And I think they're really struggling. Good pressure on the line out again there.
And another big tackle. That was Bryn Bradley right up on there, and Quins are keeping this going right to the final line. And the breaks come, and it's Milo Hallam. Has he got the players? Can he get it through the hands? And he's got it out. And they're trying to, and I think Billy Orchard just couldn't get around the outside, and that has been the story of the Chiefs attacking today, Chris.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting as we go into these final 3 minutes is, we talked about the winning isn't the be-all and end-all, but this is a sporting contest and we're endeavouring to win. The process is the thing that's the most important, and with Exeter now needing to score twice, it may mean they open up things, and that happened just there. Quinn's chasing on the outside a little bit, but they're still in the ascendancy because they're those 2 scores ahead.
Absolutely. So Quinn's get a chance. Now the line, and that has been happening all game. Yeah, Chris Tatunza.
In 5.
Great clear. The line out has been very impressive from Chiefs today, and slightly disappointing from Quinn's.
Advantage, guys, offside.
You obviously mentioned Tashunda as somebody who was impressed throughout that match, and that was an absolutely outstanding steal from him. But he's got to remember the guys that got him up in the air as well. Yeah,
and they got a free ball now. It's advantage to Chiefs. They've got to get a score here so they can get the ball back and have another go. Grubb trying to find his way through, but Quinn's having none of that. I think that's Nathan Correa there trying to get in, and that's been ripped by Quinn's, but we're going back.
Offside.
And we're going to have a break here. We've got a head injury.
Come on, fellas, we're going back for advantage. There's an injury.
So with 2 minutes to go, the clock stops, and we have an injury.
Yeah, it's pretty essential that off the back of this, Exeter, if they are going to end up winning this game, that they score, whether it's 5 or 7 points, to give them just a little bit of time. Quins would then kick off to them and they would have a chance to score. However, again, I mentioned a second ago, thinking about the process from the Quins perspective, they're going to be throwing their bodies on the line, but not in a willy-nilly way. They're going to carry on looking to execute those chop tackles, bring those big Exeter forwards down, and look to try and make Exeter make errors and try and force their decisions.
21 points to 12.
Oh, no, it was in this time in the first half where the game was called short. Just hope that doesn't happen in the second half. And so far, everybody has managed to get up and walk off the pitch, so that's good stuff. So, but Jack must be pleased with this Quinn's display.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there's been some individual brilliance in attack, but I think something they'll be really proud of is the defence, the line speed, the chop tackles, and I think they've done a really, really good job at stopping Exeter from getting any sort of flow and rhythm in their attack.
And is that because it was like, that line speed, or do you think they were a bit predictive of what they were doing and Quinn's just picked that up earlier?
Maybe a little bit, a couple good reads in defence, and once you've made one good tackle and you're on the front foot, it's far easier to make another. And it's the same in attack. If you're getting that fast ball and the defence isn't getting up as quickly, it's much easier to make the breaks. And look, Quins have executed it really well.
They certainly have. Chris, your first foray into the Quinn's Academy, watching them straight on there, you must be impressed with what you've seen. I mean, you've been involved with a lot of these, not these players, but players at this age across Surrey, Sussex, Kent over the last 4 or 5 years in different roles. It's a good level. It's and these players, they seem to be coached and like taught well.
Yeah, look, I think it's an absolutely outstanding level. I think what's really exciting is that Quins have maintained a style over several years that's both enjoyable to play and enjoyable to watch. I think Jack is absolutely spot on when he talks about the defence today. But the decision making in terms of when to keep the ball and when to offload, I think is absolutely been spot on. Any errors we saw in the first half weren't necessarily decision making errors, they were perhaps execution errors. There are some terrific schools, there are some terrific coaches, there are some terrific clubs in the area, all pushing players through the system. We've obviously highlighted the system beyond this setup in terms of the pathway, but just touching upon the system to get into it, it's very, very competitive, but a lot of good work goes out to some terrific coaches, directors of rugby at clubs and schools.
They absolutely do. I mean, the Quinn's team itself, there's about 10, 11 schools represented in there. There's 10 or 11 clubs, and clubs are as important as the schools in developing these players and getting them out there. And we're glad to see there. We can't see which player it is, but he's up and about and walking off, so that's a good sign. And Harry Hockin is coming on for him.
Yeah, always good to see an injured player get up and walk off the field. It is a contact sport, and there are sometimes we do see players have to leave the field through injury, but always good to see them get back up and walk off.
So we're restarting again. Referee just saying there, 17, David Oforo Martin, offside. So Exeter are looking to scrum it. Bring the players in, leave themselves a bit of room. Off the back with a back row move, Chris, or do you think it's going to go through the hands?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think Exeter have got a lot of reward in terms of trying to rumble it close, which obviously creates space out wide. Their back row have been quite effective, but obviously having a solid scrum gives a good platform to attack from. If you look at their two centres and their fly half slightly off, so there may well be a move off an 8 carry.
And Jack, where's your money? Do you think it's going to through the backs, or do you think it'll be rumble like 8 off the bat as a back row? What do you like here? Or do you like, surprise us all and go blind?
I'd be interested to see what happens here. Like you say, I reckon it could potentially go wide, but the way they're setting up, it looks like they are tight. 13 maybe up on a hard line.
What's really interesting to note, however, is as Harry Hocking has come back on as a hooker with number 2 on his back, he's actually packed down in that number 8 position.
Set.
Aren't those things that I meant to pick out? But anyway, well done, Chris, thank you. Right, so here we go, and there we go. And I can't remember which one of us said that, but that is good work there, Harry Hocking. And now there's our man, Tazunda. He's been around all game, been very instrumental. Nathan Correa pushing it through. Oh, and it's right up there. I think that was Bailey Williams. Halam, they're just right on that Queen's line now.
Looks like Exeter are looking to try and score as close to those posts as possible to give an easy conversion and take them within a penalty range.
Yeah, well, the clock says 70's up now. It means it's time. We haven't heard from the ref, but we're pretty accurate with that clock. So I think if it's only one score that Chiefs can get out of this now. So I think Chiefs just want to make the score look respectable, and Quins just want to make sure that they keep them out again.
Tackle! You trapped him in. The
Korea's done well to slow that ball down, get between him and the opposition.
Hocking and Korea off the back, trying to orchestrate it while Josh Pilkington orchestrating the backs. He's going to call, let him know what's happening. And there's Hallam, not getting that ball down.
Good tackle there from Baxter.
Yeah, and trying to get through the middle there. I think that was Wilkinson trying to push it through. Once again, Quins are right up. You can just see the line, we see the ball, it's very, very close. Coming back, they're going to go again. Pierce Cowley can't get over. Oh, and that's trying to create that space, he can't get it down, and that's exceptionally good. Quins, let me just say, exceptionally good Quins defence, exceptional good camera work, and we can tell you that ball is not down. And
some players calling for a knock on there as well.
I can't see a grounding there. I can't see a grounding. It's a scrum.
The ref saying no grounding. Ball was not grounded.
Scrum.
And we are. It's the Exeter scrum again. Chris, a great display of defence.
A great display of defence. That's just a question of going into the trenches, putting your body on the line at times, and throwing yourself at the guys who are coming forward to the ball. I think what's really important in the context of this game is the amount of time that has actually taken, and Exeter still have not got over the line yet.
And it's a lot harder to keep that defence up than it is when you've got the ball in hands and you're, waiting there. So great play there.
Bind.
From the Quins defence. As a back row, Jack, you'd be jumping up and down on this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, really pleased with that.
And this looks like the last play. They're coming out wide. The 12-13, McCaig Hill. But they've still got the ball. They've just got to build it again. There's McCaig. They've got to keep it alive. That is the last play. Bailey Williams they're trying hard. Quinn trying to get him in touch. And yes, that is stolen. Quins have stolen that. A great steal there. That is Enzo Croy with the steal.
That's the story of the second half. Quins' defence has been absolutely superb, and to keep them out for that amount of time on their own line is credit to all of them out there.
Tap it first.
Absolutely, and it will be Josh Tussler that has the...
Ready, Frank, they're going to kick one.
Are they going to take the line out? He could have tapped and called the game off, but he was told there that carrying on. Chris, interesting.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing being there is they could have tapped and kicked the ball out for game over. They're obviously in stoppage play. Quins have scored 3 tries, and if they get 4 tries, that'll be a bonus point. So context of thinking big picture as a part of the league, you know, in all sorts of situations, you've got to think about, you know, how you win. Obviously, we've got bonus points to consider at some of the top competitions, so this will be a really good education for these young players.
It is, and I think that on that aside, it's like the opportunity now. I mean, in my day, kick it out, the game's over, thank you very much, let's go and get a drink and everything else. But now it's kind of like, yeah, we're enjoying this, let's keep it going.
And I think it's important as well, we talk about, you know, some scenarios. You know, the scenario is last play of the game, you have to score for a bonus point, what are you going to do? Here we've got it in a game.
Absolutely, now they tried the little chip over the top, but the ball's back with Exeter, and so we're back to what we've been used to in the second half, an incredibly resolute, firm Quins defence. You see that, look at that Quins line there, there's no dog legs in there, they're coming up as a line, and HARLEQUINS try to get up quick on there. That's McCaig making the difference through there, but Quins got it back again to get the other opportunity. Through the hands, nice quick hands. Managed to keep a hold of it there, no knock on. And that's been ripped. That's Harry Hockin. Since he's come back on, he's had an exceptionally good game. Been involved all over the place.
And of course, Exeter chasing that losing bonus point by losing by 7 or less here. So all to play for in this final passage of play.
Exactly, both teams want to keep this alive. It's a long old phase. William Beacon-Hall there trying to, looking at all the options, but it's a penalty to Quins. Not releasing. And tap and go, and that's quick there. Bryn Bradley, try score earlier. These guys are really up for this, but there's the knock on, and so I think the referee will get the opportunity to call the final time, I think, against the wish of both sets of players there, Chris.
Well, I think at the that final passage of play, you look on the field and both sets of players are breathing very, very hard, as well as the referee. It's always great to see after a contest like that when it has been hugely physical. The beauty of the game of rugby is they go up to each other, shake each other's hands.
Absolutely, you know, an incredibly enjoyable game. Last week, games was very different. This one was tight, but it was still, you know, still 2 scores in it. So, you know, Quins have had 2 pulsating games. And what would you take from it, Chris? Would you take from it that, you know, Quins, that DNA they keep going on, that defence that they must have worked on, or just Exeter, it was just a little bit too much for them?
No, I think, looking at it from a Quins perspective, I think it's probably fair to say, as far as results concerned, they deserved it. But it may well be, as we mentioned earlier, a couple of moments of brilliance in attack. However, you know, as we've mentioned earlier, as Jack has highlighted, I think it was the defence they'll be most proud of. That's a combination of that goal line defence, but I just love the execution. If you looked at that first Exeter try, we mentioned straight afterwards there was actually a couple of tackles that the Quins players had fallen off. They weren't executed, and the players weren't brought to ground. That was completely and utterly changed in that second half. And Exeter were banging really, really hard on the door, but Quins were not going to let them in. Exeter definitely had their opportunities, but it was against a terrific Quins defence. We highlighted some cracking displays from that Exeter setup. We looked at some great hits from Ben Grubb. We certainly looked at Christ Ashunda, both in terms of the line out, but also he carries. However, some individual performances from Quins which really stood out. Finn Baxter, a terrific first half, both in terms of carries and turnovers. His front row mate Will Hobson getting in on the act. Makeem Alakan and Ted Johnson in the back row at 7 and 8. But really liked Jamie Benson, the way he pulled the strings in the first half. And of course Cassius Cleve has scored 2 terrific tries in the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely, and let's look at the first Harlequins try in the first half. And Chris, I'll let you talk us through this.
I mean, I'm a big fan of a catch and drive, and that just gives Quins that platform. A little bit of a wraparound argument of crossing there. Did it affect the tackler? Well, I'll let you rewind and have a look at that. And just that execution, you know, you can't beat pace, and a player like Ojo out wide with pace and space, he's always going to get over.
Absolutely, yeah. There was, and Exeter did come back. They kept it tight. Ben Grubb, who's instrumental in the whole game.
Yeah, Ben Grubb there just tidies up a slightly loose ball. We talked about just not quite executing those chop tackles. There was a couple before then, and Grubb's done really well to reach out and place that ball down, and that was deserved off the back of a performance from him today.
And then Quins came back at us.
Yeah, interesting one. We commented on Cleve going to 9 for this play, obviously looking to get the ball in his hands. His school teammate clears up a messy ball there, and I'll let the pictures speak for themselves.
Absolutely, I'll help him, but that is exceptional play. Just like, you know, which box does that come out from?
As we said earlier, that's 2 tries with some exceptional footwork in 2 weeks. That's clearly not luck. He's got a lot in his locker in that regard, and he'll be one to keep an eye out for the future.
Absolutely. The producer obviously likes it. He's going to give us another look at it here from the wide. Look at that, and just like, you know, everybody in there standing along with their pint. They're nearly putting their pints down to cheer that one.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to watch that over and over all day. Ball kicked. Back to that man, Cleve again. We talked about the lack of execution in the Quins tackles. That was just one missed tackle, and look, the game has completely opened up. I like Ojo's support here, and if you look left, you've actually now got a series of Quins attackers who have worked really hard to get into position, and we commented on the quality of that finish as it occurred. But diving in over the corner, avoiding going out into touch, his whole body is actually in the air, and he places that down. That's allowed, of course, but a cracking finish for Quins.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and so the story of the game: Harlequins 21, Exeter 12, and I think it was a fair reflection of the game and a fair reflection of that kind of like display from Quins and that resolute, stiff display. So let's have a quick mention of our sponsors today, supporting the stream alive. Design Your Well-Being. Thank you for their support today. Delalio Rugby Works. Rugby Works supports over 550 young people across England and Wales with the highest needs in the country. Using the values of rugby and education, Rugby Works takes young people on a journey with the aim of getting them into sustained education, employment or training. And we'll shout out again that we're using Delalio lads again today here on some of the cameras. So big shout out to those lads. And iSports Analysis, the world's most powerful online sports analysis platform, bringing you all the analysis you need for your games. Guardian Pro mouthguards, giving your teeth every sporting chance. And Samurai RFC, one of the leading sevens teams, 18 months away from their 25th anniversary, Chris, and I remembered that very well. And thank you for that pat on the back. So, a wrap here, a big shout out first of all to Jack. Jack, thank you very much.
No problem.
For your time today. And please, well, first of all, is this a future career for you, or do you want to get back out there on that pitch sooner rather than later?
I'd love to get back out on that pitch. Hopefully next Monday, there's some PREMIERSHIP going on, so hopefully get the boots back on and get back out there.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that. And Chris, thank you very much for your time today. What's next on your agenda? Anything exciting?
In the next couple of hours, it will be getting home and looking after the kids. So, Rafe and Hebe, I'll see you in a couple of hours.
That's a good call out. I like that. So, from the Rock, Rosslyn Park, Harlequins 21, Exeter Chiefs 12, a Cheers Mate Productions production. Thank you.
shot away. It's another super goal.
Welcome back, everybody, pitchside. England have won this one 22 points to 6. There's a little bit of an arm wrestle at the start, but England ran away with it in the end.
Your 2018 champions, the London Monarchs.
Winners of 2018.
Well done, boys. Let's give it up. Go on, lads. Welcome to the glorious sunshine of the LDN Sevens, where we have got wall-to-wall rugby and one hell of a party coming at you all weekend.
The whole vibe here has changed from last year. It's got more of a massive festival theme now as well. Bigger, better, and rugby's really good as well.
So burgers, beers, good vibes, plenty of top rugby, so get yourself down here to the LDN Sevens 2019.
I tell you what, drinking pints and winning a tournament, what more could you want? Like pints, rugby winning, and just taking the people to the cleaners. I love it.